On the 6th of June 2020, in Eastern Cape of South Africa, late afternoon during a family ceremony, family members were startled when they heard a heart-piercing scream coming from the other side of the house. When they rushed over to see what was happening, they were met with an unbelievable sight. Before them was one of their own butchering his ex-girlfriend with an axe and a long knife. He used so much force, and his face was filled with so much hatred that the people around him were terrified of stopping him, so they were forced to watch the terrible scene unfold in front of their eyes. This is the story of Naledi Phangindawo. Naledi Phangindawo, who was 26 when she died, was born and raised in a township called Koffimvaba in the Eastern Cape of South Africa. Naledi was born in 1994 to mother Nomilikhaya Phangindawo, and her father's name is unknown. She grew up in a very loving, warm home with both parents present and a big family of brothers and sisters. The family wasn't wealthy or anything like that, but they had an abundance of love to share together. Naledi was described as someone who was so loving and caring to everyone around her, who only wanted what was best for her family. She always knew what she wanted out of life and had no problem doing whatever that needed to be done to get it. Hardworking and a goal-orientated to the point where she told her family that she would work as hard as she needed to get them out of poverty. She was naturally a social butterfly, so people were naturally drawn to her. She would later use that to her advantage to fulfill her goals in life and help her family. The family would move to Mossel Bay during Naledi's teenage years, where she spent her high school years at Point High School. During her teenage years, Naledi developed an interest in modeling and pursued that goal, which, of course, she excelled in, as she was so hardworking, winning a contest and was crowned Miss Nokwanqeba, which was the town she lived in. Naledi would soon matriculate and decided to enroll at the Cape Peninsula University of Technology that was located in Cape Town, where she studied Information Systems Technology. She was 19 years old around this time, and just as life is unpredictable, she would fall pregnant with her first child. Forced to drop out of tertiary education to take care of her child, Naledi had to move back to Mossel Bay. After she gave birth to her beautiful, precious baby girl, she started working odd jobs to take care of her baby. She got into the retail industry, however, the salary she got was not enough, so she knew she had to come up with another plan to make decent money. That's when she met a man 6 years her senior by the name of Mlondolozi Ntlangulela, whom she liked, and after a few dates, the two started dating officially. And of course, at first, the relationship was great. Naledi loved spending time with him. They were happy, excited about each other, and incredibly in love more than anything. Blondolozi adored her baby, which made Naledi love him even more. A while after they started dating, the couple would welcome their first child together, which turned out to be a boy. If you didn't know, you would think the family was happy and things were going perfect. However, you would not be further from the truth because Naledi was abused. Mlondolozi would verbally and physically abuse Naledi. He wanted things done a certain way, and if Naledi dared to anger him, he would beat her and throw things at her. And I'm not talking about small weightless things, I mean dangerous weapons and things that would seriously injure you if they were to touch you. In one incident, he threw an axe at her. Fortunately, it missed her. Naledi, thinking of her kids, continued with the relationship. 2 years later, Naledi gave birth to the couple's second child and Naledi's third, which was a girl. With 3 children, the financial strains were getting tighter and tighter. Naledi, realizing this, had to come up with a plan to make some money to take care of her kids. So she saw an advertisement about Herbalife, a multi-level product selling business, and decided to take on the challenge. She was a people's person, so working with people was second nature to her. She recruited more and more people, and as she did so, she grew higher in the business to the point where she was titled supervisor in the business. With this achievement came so much benefits that she was able to buy herself her first car. Things were going well for Naledi professionally, that she was able to provide for her children everything she desired for them. She even introduced Mlondolozi to Herbalife so that he too can succeed. With Herbalife going really great and succeeding, she had enough confidence in herself that she started working with other brands, selling their products and making more money, that she was even able to buy herself a second car. With things going incredibly well in her professional life, they were not as rosy in her personal life. Mlondolozi's abuse was even more worse, so she decided to put herself first because she had had enough of being Mlondolozi's punching bag. She broke up with him. He did not like this, however, so he did not accept the breakup. Naledi had made up her mind, however, and was already planning on taking her kids and moving out, but she knew she had to do it without his knowledge. Naledi started looking for a job in neighboring towns. That's when she found a job in a nearby town called Knysna. As soon as she found employment, she moved while Mlondolozi was away. She had finally left and she finally started feeling safe. Mlondolozi didn't try contacting her at all during this time while she was settling down, but all the while Mlondolozi seemed quiet. He was looking for her, and after a while searching, he managed to track her down. Then he decided to pay her a visit. To Naledi's surprise, he visited her, and Naledi asked him to leave, thinking he was upset. Instead, Mlondolozi wasn't upset. He actually begged her to go back home with him, asked her to take him back so they could work out the problems and reunite the family. Naledi, knowing everything that he put her through, knew going back would be a mistake, so she was having none of it. She flat out refused. This only enraged Mlondolozi so much it created hate for Naledi, so he once again assaulted her to the point where he broke one of her fingers. Naledi, as soon as Mlondolozi left, she went to the police to report Mlondolozi and filed a protection order against him. After the incident, Mlondolozi kept his distance away from Naledi, and she was finally believing that she was free from him, and the chaotic part of her life was finally over. She was finally relaxed and happy with her kids without any worries. What she didn't know, however, is that Mlondolozi was filled with so much hate for her that he was thinking of doing the unthinkable and the unimaginable to her. A few weeks later, Naledi received a call from Mlondolozi's family. They called to invite her to a traditional ceremony they were having. Said they would love having her and the kids there. This wasn't unusual, however, because she had developed a relationship with the family and she, of course, mothered Mlondolozi's children. So she decided to attend the ceremony. On the day of the ceremony, Naledi prepared herself and her children, and off they went to the ceremony. When she got there, they welcomed her with open arms, and she was having a nice time as the day progressed. During this day, Naledi was relaxing in the house when a young man whom she didn't know walked in and told her someone was asking for her outside, to which she got up and followed the man, only to be hit with a sharp object the second she stepped outside. Mlondolozi had with him an axe and a sharp, big metal weapon that resembled a knife. Mlondolozi continuously hit her with the weapons while his family members watched on, shocked and screaming, scared to intervene, afraid Mlondolozi would turn the weapons on them if they tried to stop him. Naledi is said to have suffered 28 strikes to her body, and Mlondolozi used so much force that when he finally stopped, Naledi was hanging on a thread. During their tag, the ambulance was called, and luckily the paramedics got there on time while she was still alive. Unfortunately, Naledi lost her life as they arrived at the hospital. After fatally hitting Naledi, Mlondolozi directed his anger to her car. He attacked the car, breaking and smashing it with the axe. As soon as he was satisfied, he left and drove to Cape Town. Naledi's family were devastated and distraught when they found out what happened to Naledi. Her mother was even admitted to hospital. She suffered an increase in her high blood. They couldn't believe what they were told. Naledi's father, whom was already a stroke patient, suffered another stroke because of the news. Naledi's children, who were 2, 4, and 6 years old, were left without the mother at the hands of their father. That's so heartbreaking. Mlondolozi decided to hand himself over to the police because his picture was everywhere as people found out what he did and were outraged. Mlondolozi pleaded not guilty for all charges, but the judge would find him guilty of Naledi's murder and sentence him to 18 years in prison. Justice was finally served. Naledi was an ambitious, beautiful, wonderful mother, sister, and daughter who wanted nothing more than to take care of her loved ones. She worked tirelessly and hard to give her kids a life she never had and wanted nothing but to protect them. Her hard work paid off, but she didn't get the chance to enjoy her achievements. May her soul rest peacefully.